Basically, innovations. I think the first innovative thing at this conference was that there is a mixture of people speaking together in one place, 2 days, which are all representing all possible positions, interests, from patients to industry, from government to insurance, and that are all together creating solution, even when they don't know they are doing so, but they are interacting in a social and economic space. And I think this was really great idea, and it should be continued. What I appreciate in addition is that we brought, or you brought here to Croatia, people which are really recognized internationally, speaking language of science and research in many areas, from medical core biomedical research to systems research, because as far as I know, there were no one for almost 8 or 9 years with international name in Croatia, and simply we lost the language, not only the dialogue. And if someone has to specialize in pediatrics every year, going somewhere else to learn something, and if we talk about so complex things we are discussing these 2 days, we really need to have a top people and top dialogue if we want to feel improvement of our life in the country. First thing I want to say is that we have to unlearn more than we learn, because we are overburdened with so much old knowledge which is already outdated, probably more than all drugs we have at the market. And this old thinking is so heavy burden on what we are trying to activate in our brain process, challenging the new problems, that probably it's harder to get rid of what we know and it's wrong than to what we should find as a problem for a solution for the problems. And it was John Maynard Keynes, when we quote big people, who said really this is sleeping in the corners of our brain, and it's really pressing us against the creative thinking. The next very important thing is time. So I rescheduled the agenda. I grouped people speaking in new groups. The first one is time and people. The presenters today were speaking actually about time and people. It was Piero Ferraro from McKinsey who was speaking about time. And I think it's important message, because time and people, it's everything actually. It's a substance of life. And when he was speaking about time, I think his message was important. We don't really have too much time. Because when we talk about new solutions in biotech research, I think Mishi really made a great presentation. And by the way, I don't believe that big buildings, big laboratories, big funding are creating innovations. We remember we had the pharmaceutical industry in Croatia, which was at the moment a biggest opportunity for the country. But then they started to believe that they will become a research industry because they find one drug. And then they lost enormous chance to become a biggest generic industry globally, because at that moment Teva was like little daughter. But time is in front of us. When we talk about 2040, for example, as something long away and ahead in front, we should just remember, for example, year 2000. It was 12 years ago. And no single innovative solution was found for health systems, for pension system, for anything what addresses the system and social solutions of what we are talking about. And if you add 12 years to 2012, you are 2025. So it's tomorrow. So what McKinsey was trying to start is, I think, at least right methodology. And from the methodology, method is a science. We have to think about the problems that are coming in that time ranges. Then if we talk about people, it was Rainer Münz, it was Ivan Čipin, and then we had Mirjana Hujić and Ms. Dražić and everyone who was representing patient associations. We have a paradox that basically we are afraid about the fact we should be happy. We are trembling in the fact that people will be living 90 years, or I just read that the highest life expectancy is not anymore Japanese women in California, but in Hong Kong. And so we are, it was mentioned many times, because we don't have solution for social systems, for pension system, for health systems, we are desperate because of the fantastic achievements of extending life expectancy. And it will, there is a great need for innovative approach for these problems, because otherwise we will come to other type of solutions. Someone mentioned China and their pension funds. I was looking internet in the meantime. They really have a pension system. They are looking for a good or bad solutions. Who really has bigger problems are India, Hong Kong, and some other countries where you really don't have anything. Like pension system in China for rural areas, they have so-called law of iron pot and rice, meaning you get this for one day and then you live. But basically whatever was mentioned about the demographics and time, that this clock is ticking, and I think there are not enough creative solutions. But it is creative to link these two things together, because then we can understand how much time we have for the solutions. Then the second group of ideas was, I call it health and economy. And what Klaus-Dirk Henke yesterday presented was really excellent, because this is change in frame of thinking, because we can look at the things as a problems or as a solutions. He was offering look at the health economy and health system as a solution, because it is contributing to growth, to employment, to exports, and so on. And we should understand that maybe 20 or 30 years ago, service industry was almost not existing. It's now 70% of European economy. And health is actually the most sophisticated service we have to offer in the future. And I think this is a strong message for Croatian government also, and any other government, that we should change the way we think about health system. This is crucial, because otherwise if we continue to think about health and the system as a problem, as a cost, as a burden, then we can simply say we can't do anything. Maybe the important message from Frank Lichtenberg in this area is that there is evidence how strong contribution directly to economy goes from research and innovation and to industrial policy and to employment and so on. But maybe the most important message which I learned from the presentations here, health problems cannot be solved by health ministries. It's impossible, because it's a governmental problem, it's a prime minister's problem, it's a country's problem. And if you look for the countries which made progress in healthcare, these countries have health as a top policy and strategy agenda for the country, not for the Ministry of Health. Because a number of the determinants that are affecting at the end health system contributes less than 20% to the life longevity, although we have all this information about life years gained. So I think the message is health is opportunity. I think for Croatia it's a huge, if we would apply Michael Porter's approach about competitiveness, maybe the biggest financial problem of Croatian government might be the best opportunity if we can change the mindset and the frame.